Once upon a time, in the heart of the Igbo kingdom of Umuni, deep in what is now as Nigeria, lived a princess named Adanma. She was the only daughter of King Obiora, a ruler known for his wisdom, fairness, and love for his people. Adanma was blessed with beauty, like the morning sun, with eyes that sparkled, and a voice as soft as a lullaby. Yet, despite her grace, there was one problem that overshadowed all her virtues. She had an unbearable body odor. The stench was so strong that people struggled to stand in her presence for too long. Maids who attended to her often tried to hold their breath, and palace guards, though trained to be fearless, would subtly step back whenever she passed. Even the most skilled herbalists in the kingdom had tried to help her, offering scented oils and powerful herbs, but nothing could mask the overwhelming scent that clung to her body. Because of this, Adanma was lonely. Though she was a princess, she had no true friends. The young men of the kingdom, who would have fought for her hand, instead avoided her. Her father, King Obiora, grew worried. He loved his daughter dearly and could not bear to see her alive in sorrow. One day, the king made a bold declaration. He sent word to all the lands that any man who could withstand Adenma's scent and agree to marry her would not only become the prince of Umun, but would also receive half of the kingdom as a reward. Many suitors came, driven by the promise of wealth and power. Princes, noblemen, and warriors arrived in fine robes, hoping to claim the princess. But one by one, they failed. Some fainted the moment they got close to her. Others gagged and ran away in horror, while a few insulted her outright before storming off. Adama watched in pain as each man turned away from her. She had grown used to rejection, but each new failure cut deeper. She began to believe she would never find love, that no man would ever see beyond her unfortunate condition. The hunter's arrival. Then, one evening, a humble hunter named Chidi arrived at the palace. Unlike the previous suitors, Chidi was not a prince. He was a man of the forest, known for his wisdom, strength, and kind heart. He had heard the king's proclamation, but did not come for riches or power. Instead, he was curious about the princess whom so many had rejected. When Chidi first laid eyes on Adanma, he was captivated. He saw not just her beauty, but the sadness in her eyes, the loneliness that weighed her down. And when he stepped closer, inhaling the scent that had driven so many away, he did not flinch or recoil. Instead, he smiled. "You are not afraid?" Adanma asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Chidi chuckled. "I have spent my life in the forests, where the scent of wild animals, sweat, and the earth is strong. To me, every scent tells a story. Yours is no different." His words stunned her. No one had ever spoken to her with such kindness, with such understanding. Seeing this, King Obiora allowed Chidi to stay in the palace. The hunter observed the princess closely, not with disgust, but with curiosity. He noticed that her scent was strongest when she was distressed, when she was anxious or afraid. This was not an ordinary condition, it was something deeper. Chidi saw the wisdom of an old healer who lived at the edge of the kingdom. The healer, a woman with knowledge passed down through generations, listened to Chidi's story and then nodded knowingly. "The princess carries a curse," she said. "A long forgotten spirit, insulted by her ancestors, has placed this burden upon her. It can only be lifted if she bathes in the sacred waters of Nuri and truly believes she is worthy of love." Chidi wasted no time. He returned to the palace and told the king of the healer's words. Without hesitation, the king ordered a journey to the sacred waters. Adanma, hesitant at first, was touched by Chidi's determination. For the first time, someone was fighting for her, not for wealth, not for power, but for her happiness. When they reached the sacred waters, Adanma stepped in, allowing the coolness to wash over her. As she did, she let go of the shame, the sorrow, and the fear that had ruled her life. Chidi stood by her side, his presence giving her strength. As she emerged from the waters, something changed. The air around her felt different. lighter, fresher. When she turned to face Chidi, she saw him smiling. "You are free," he said. When they returned to Umuni, the people rejoiced. Word spread that the princess was healed, that the curse was broken. But more than that, they saw a new glow in her, a confidence, a lightness she had never had before. King Obiora, overwhelmed with gratitude, gave Chidi his blessing. The hunter and the princess were married in a grand ceremony, not just as a reward, but out of genuine love. Aidama had finally found someone who saw her, who accepted her, and who fought for her happiness. Together, they ruled the kingdom in harmony.